Okay, this is going to be a Google My Maps tutorial, and I'm going to try to keep it brief since I have talked about this a little bit in class and it's pretty intuitive and user friendly. The first thing you're going to do is go to Google My Maps, and you're going to most likely see something like this. And you can see that I have a few projects that I've worked on. I have an untitled map here. I'm not really sure what that's about, but I am actually just going to move that to the trash. Yeah. And I'm just going to clean things up here for just a moment while I look at this. Okay, I'm going to create a new map, and that's what you need to do for this migration immigration project that we've been working on and heading into week 3. And so I am going to, first of all, give this I'm just going to give it a really lame title. I'm going to call it sample. I should probably call it tutorial. And what I am going to do is, oh, that was the layer. I named the layer. What I am going to do actually is call the map sample, and I'm going to, now that I look at this, trip 1, and I'm going to add another layer just to show you that, here's some of the things that you can do. I'm going to put trip 2, and we're going to keep it right there. And I'm going to turn off trip 2 and just focus on trip 1. And I am using an example of a trip that I took to Iceland. And so we will go ahead and drop a pin. This is kind of fun, actually. We're going to drop a pin in Portland, okay, and specifically the Portland airport, okay. So I'm going to put Portland International Airport. See what pops up here. There it is. And what I can actually do is I can just add to my map, and I'm adding this to trip 1. Okay. I can also, if I wanted to back out, I can add my own pin. Okay. I'm going to zoom out here, and I can add my own pin just to show you how to do this. I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to drop my own pin here. And what this allows me to do is I'll just put PDX. We flew from PDX to Iceland via Iceland Air. And what would really benefit me here is if I had some dates and things off the top of my head. I don't right now for our first trip to Iceland. I'm just going to save that, figure those dates out, come back, hit the edit button, and I can actually figure that out later on. I also want to see something here real quickly. Ooh, so I think I can just go Google search, image search here. I'm going to put Iceland Air just to see what comes up. Yeah, okay, so there's the planes that we flew on. I'm going to add this picture to this particular pin. Okay, there it is. Okay, and I'm going to hit save. The other thing I could do is, because I have 2 layers, I'm going to actually change this. I'm going to go with the colors on the plane itself. It looks like they have a yellow, so I'm going to go with yellow for this first trip that I took. And boom. And just to let you know what would be helpful and what you're supposed to be doing with the information here is really telling your story, the immigration experience, the migration experience. So, for example, blah, 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 blah. And there was a pull factor for Mr. Morgan and Miss Greenwood. And actually, Miss Greenwood's sister on this first trip to go to Iceland. And so I'm going to tell a little bit of that story here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and actually just move us to Iceland now, and watch this. Would be kind of hilarious because I don't know how to spell this, Reykjavik. It's probably not even going to pop up because it's spelled so poorly. Well, Keflavik International Air it is. This is the airport that you fly into in Iceland, and then you take a bus from the international airport into Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland. So I'm going to add this to my map as well. Okay, so there we are, Keflavik International Airport. And again, I'm just going to make this so I can tell the difference between, in this case, the first trip and the second trip. All right. However, I'm also if I add other additional pins, like maybe I have restaurants that I want to pin a different color, and I'm going to use red for restaurant, right? So we're going to go ahead and close that up. And then I am actually going to zoom out, and we're going to take a kind of a look at Iceland here. And so here is where we flew into, and here is where we, for the first trip, here's where we stayed for about a week. And we did some side tours and things I'm going to mark as well. But I am going to go ahead and head on over to Reykjavik here. And I actually feel like, because Iceland is so small, I feel like I have a pretty good idea if I remember exactly where we stayed at. But just to speed this up a little bit here, what I'm going to do is, oh, we stayed like right here. So I'm going to grab a pin. I'm going to drop this pin, and I'm going to put the Airbnb. This is where we stayed, and our home base, as we took several side trips around the beautiful country of Iceland. Okay. And see why it doesn't like that real quickly. I'm going to keep it. I might go back and fix that a little bit later. I'm also going to add pictures. Let's see. I don't even know if this Vestergata Street, Iceland, what are the chances of this? I don't even know if I spelled it correctly. Hello. This is it. This is a block or so from where we stayed, but you're kind of getting the idea. I can also upload my own pictures, right? So I'm just going to snag one of these because I've walked right along here, a little restaurant there. Okay, and we'll throw that in there. Okay, and we're going to save that. And, I don't want to drag this out too much. But we're going to go ahead and save that. And now you know that's how to drop pins, how to put pictures in. It would be awesome if you had your own sort of personal pictures or other artifacts that you could throw in here to make this a rich, dynamic migration experience. Okay. On trip 2, I will tell you, I'll get rid of trip 1, and I'll just drop a pin or 2 to kind of just get this all squared away for us. I want to say, oh yes, this is bringing things back. It was kind of bizarre, but we had a van that we rented, which is very popular over there. And we had to walk from the bus station with our packs and everything. The bus station was over here. We walked over here and we found this van. There was like 8 or 9 vans that were all parked like right in here. Maybe it was right in here. And the keys were locked in a lockbox on the side. Van pickup area, right? And let's see. This is where, on the second trip, we picked up our van to begin our journey around the whole country. Okay, and save. And I'm going to actually change this to a different color. And actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it as blue since those were the colors of the airline. And I am totally spacing out the name of this company. Let's see. Iceland van camper. Let's see what happens here. Give you guys an idea. Yeah, all right. So you can see there's a couple different companies here that allow you to just rent vans. And yes, you have your feet tucked in there. I wonder, just out of curiosity, this looks like the van we had. I'm going to snag this one and snag this one. Oh, can we snag two at a time? It doesn't look like we can. Maybe we have to add them separately. And we're going to go save. And oh, did it save the picture? I don't know if it did. Select. There it is. Okay. And now we're going to close that up, and we're just going to bounce out from, Iceland. And look at, I only have that one pin dropped because I only have one layer turned on. And so now I'm going to say like, oh, just out of curiosity, this might be something that I would throw into my story, the captions for these pictures. What's the distance from here to here? That's pretty cool, right? 3,500 miles. So beginning in Portland, we flew 3,500 miles up and over in the Arctic and through Greenland and things like that, right? And so we can kind of leave that. I don't know if that's going to stick, but that will help just narrate my story and that sort of thing. You have some other tools up here that you might want to take a look at. You can also look at your base maps down here. Okay. You want satellite, you want, oh, that's kind of a cool one. Here's some satellite imagery, and you can kind of go with it like that. And so that's just your brief tutorial on how to use Google My Maps to drop some pins and use some tools and do some other interesting things. You can also add video. There are going to be links that you're going to add to in your little captions there as well. So if you have YouTube videos or things like that, that can help make your story a little bit more rich and dynamic, that it's totally going to benefit the overall project.